Now, we always leave Santa cookies and milk, but I think the house down the road left him a bowl of spicy chili. And we paid the price. The fire was crackling, the embers were red. We were all tucked snug in our feather bed. Then I heard a rumble from up on the roof. Sounded louder than a reindeer hoof. It wasn't a jingle and it wasn't a bell. It was followed closely by a powerful smell. The pressure was building in his big round gut, and the chimney acted like a megaphone. Santa farted down the chimney. It blew the soot right off the brick. It wasn't a ho-ho, it was a low, low blow. From the backside of St. Nick, the dog passed out and the cat turned green. The worst silent night that I ever seen. We wanted presents, but we got a whiff of a North Pole gaseous gift. Now Grandma woke up and she grabbed her cologne. She said something died inside the danger zone. The living room filled with a foggy haze that put the Christmas tree into a daze. The stockings were hanging, but they curled right up like a wilted flower or a paper cup. Santa shouted down, sorry about that blast. I shouldn't have ate that bean dip quite so fast.
Stop, clap, stop, clap.
Had to rumble the floorboards and rattle the reef.
It shook the dentures
right of Grandpa's teeth. He's lactose intolerant, we should have known. Next time leave that boy a Sqaud. He finally shimmied down, he looked quite pale, holding his belly and gripping the rail. He dropped off the toys and he ran for the door. Said, I gotta find an outhouse, that's for sure. He jumped in the sleigh and he flew out of sight, propelled by the gas into the starry night. If you see a shooting star that's burning blue, it might be Santa passing over you.
Stop, clap, stop, clap.
Santa farted down the chimney. It blew the soot right off the brick. It wasn't a ho-ho, it was a low, low blow. From the backside of St. Nick, the dog passed out and the cat turned green. The worst silent night that I ever seen. We wanted presents, but we got a whiff of a North Pole gaseous gift. Somebody light a match! No, wait, don't do that. You'll blow us all to kingdom come.
Now y'all know Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, but down here in the swamp we got a cousin they don't talk about much. Rudolph was a redneck reindeer living in a trailer park. He had a mullet made of velvet and he loved to hunt after dark. He didn't have a glow, and no sir, that story ain't quite right. He had a halogen hunting bar duct taped to his forehead tie. Rudolph the redneck reindeer had a lift kit on his sleigh. Dual exhaust and monster truck tires blasting Skinner all the way. And if you ever saw him, you would probably run in fear, 'cause Rudolph the redneck reindeer smells like diesel and cheap beer. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names like Bubba, Hulse, and Cletus, and they banned him from the fancy games. They played Monopoly and Scrabble while Rudolph sat outside, spit and dip into a solo cup, working on his four-wheel drive. Then one muddy Christmas Eve, Santa got stuck in a bog. He shouted, Rudolph, grab your winch, I can't see through this fog. Rudolph revved that engine up and he threw it into low. He dragged that fat man out the ditch and saved the whole darn show. They think he's mighty cool. He taught them how to noodle catfish and break every North Pole rule. They're eating venison jerks, wait, that's weird, and wearing camo gear, 'cause Rudolph the redneck reindeer is the hero of the year. Rudolph the redneck reindeer had a lift kit on his sleigh. Dual exhaust and monster truck tires blasting Skinner all the way. And if you ever saw him, you would probably run in fear, 'cause Rudolph the redneck reindeer smells like diesel and cheap beer. Yeah, he smells like diesel and jerky. Merry Christmas, y'all. Watch out for the deer stand. Now look here, I ain't never seen St. Nick act like this before, Grandpa. You better wake up from your nap, 'cause Mr. Kringle is on the prowl. Hit it, boys! Well, Grandma put her curlers in and sprayed her hair real high. She baked a batch of biscuits and a double apple pie. She was sitting by the fireplace in her fuzzy leopard vest when Santa tumbled down the pipe and brushed off his chest. Now usually he drops the toys and heads back to the snow, but he took one look at Granny and his face began to glow. He didn't check his list, no he didn't check it twice. He stared at Grandma's grin and said,
"You look mighty nice."
Lordy mercy, Santa's hitting on Grandma. He's leaning on the mantle, breaking all the North Pole laws. He ain't looking at the cookies, he ain't looking at the trees, winking at my granny while she's bouncing on his knee. Forget about the missus, forget about the claw, Santa's hitting on Grandma. Just because. Well, Grandpa's in the recliner, snoring like a train, while Santa's pouring eggnog and whispering her name. He said the sleigh is kinda cozy, it's got heated leather seats. How'd you like to fly to Vegas, girl, and get away from all this sleep? He offered her a candy cane, he offered her a ring. I heard him promise Grandma just about everything. He touched his nose and nodded, but he didn't go up the flue. He was busy asking Granny if she liked the color blue.
Watch out now!
Now Dasher and Dancer are stomping on the roof.
Clap, clap!
They're waiting on the big man, looking for the proof.
Clap, clap!
But Santa's got the jitterbug, he's acting like a fool.
Clap, clap!
He's asking if my granny wants to see his power tools. Well, Grandpa finally woke up when he heard a giggling sound. He grabbed his double barrel and he racked a dusty round. He yelled, "Get off my woman, you jolly bearded goat, or I'll turn that red suit into a winter coat." Santa jumped a mile high, he scrambled up the brick. I never seen a fat man move quite that quick. He forgot to leave the presents, he forgot to leave the toys, but he blew a kiss to Granny just to agitate the boy. Lordy mercy, Santa's hitting on Grandma. He's leaning on the mantle, breaking all the North Pole laws. He ain't looking at the cookies, he ain't looking at the trees, winking at my granny while she bouncing on his knee. Forget about the missus, forget about the claw, Santa's hitting on Grandma. Just because. Lordy mercy, Santa's hitting on Grandma. He's leaning on the mantle, breaking all the North Pole laws. He ain't looking at the cookies, he ain't looking at the trees, winking at my granny while she bouncing on his knee. Forget about the missus, forget about the claw, Santa's hitting on Grandma. Just because. Granny, wipe that lipstick off your cheek. Honestly, you're 84 years old. Well, I never thought I'd see the day Grandma usually likes 'em tall, dark, and handsome. But this new fella, he's short, fuzzy, and smells like old sauerkraut. Kick it off! Grandma put a profile up on ChristianMingle.com, looking for a gentleman to take her to the prom. She swiped left on the deacon and she swiped left on the mayor. She wanted someone dangerous with tangled mossy hair. He pulled up in a sleigh that didn't have no license plate, with a scowl upon his face and a heart filled up with hate. But Granny fixed her lipstick and she opened up the door. She said, "Come on in, your hairy thing, I love a man that roars." Lord have mercy, Grandma's dating the Grinch. He's stealing all the silverware and acting like a pinch. He's green as a pickle and he's sour as a lime, but Granny says he kisses just like strawberry wine. He ain't got no money and he smells like compost mulch, but Grandma's dating the Grinch, she's got a strange impulse. He came to Sunday dinner and he sat at the head of the table. He tried to eat the roast beef, but he was highly unstable. He took the carving knife and tried to cut the table leg, while that little dog named Max was begging for an egg. Mama tried to be polite, she said, "You have a lovely tan." He burped a cloud of green smoke and insulted my Uncle Dan. But Granny just giggled like a schoolgirl in a trance, while he was stuffing all the dinner rolls inside his fuzzy pants. His heart was two sizes, strings hard.
That wife's bar.
But Granny's loving breaks the wall.
porch in a pair of matching chairs, picking lice and termites out of each other's hairs. He's complaining about the noise and how the Who's are singing loud, and Granny's yelling, "Get off my lawn," to the passing crowd. It's a match made in heaven, or maybe down below, but at least he shovels the driveway when we get a little snow. So if you see a green streak running from the trailer park, that's just Granny's boyfriend, scared of the dog's bark. Lord have mercy, Grandma's dating the Grinch. He's stealing all the silverware and acting like a pinch. He's green as a pickle and he's sour as a lime, but Granny says he kisses just like strawberry wine. He ain't got no money and he smells like compost mulch, but Grandma's dating the Grinch, she's got a strange impulse. Hey, Mr. Grinch, quit trying to steal the copper wire out of the AC unit. Granny, come get your man!
Now you all remember the tragedy last Christmas Eve. Well, Grandma made a full recovery, and she spent her insurance money on something real special.
Well, it's been a year since the incident when they found her in the snow. The doctors put her back together, head to misty toe. But Grandma didn't get mad, no sir, she just went out to the shed. She bought a welding torch and a semi-truck and painted the chassis red. Grandma ran over a reindeer, she caught him crossing the interstate. She had a cow catcher on her bumper and a vengeance fueled by hate. You can say there's no such thing as justice, but as for me and Grandpa, we agree that venison jerky tastes much better when it's roadkill fricassee. She sat waiting on the roofline with a spotlight and a net. She saw Rudolph landing softly and she yelled, "I'll get you yet." She jumped into her monster truck, put the pedal to the floor. She chased them critters through the cornfield, hear that diesel engine roar. Santa Claus was screaming, "Lady, please, I'll give you gold." But Grandma drifted around the barn, she was fearless, wild and bold. She clipped the runners of the sleigh and sent the toys a-flying. Grandpa watched it from the porch and laughed until he was crying. The sleigh is in the impound and the deer are in a tree, and Grandma's wearing a fur coat that looks like Dasher to me. So if you're out this Christmas, keep your eyes upon the street, 'cause Grandma's got a heavy foot and revenge is tasting sweet. Grandma ran over a reindeer, she caught him crossing the interstate. She had a cow catcher on her bumper and a vengeance fueled by hate. You can say there's no such thing as justice, but as for me and Grandpa, we agree that venison jerky tastes much better when it's roadkill fricassee. Looks like we're having stew for New Year's, folks. Merry Christmas, and watch out for the truck. Now, we all know what happened to Grandma and that reindeer, but Grandpa always had to go and one-up her. He didn't get hit by a mammal, no sir. He got leveled by a semi-truck full of Christmas spirit. Hit it, boys! Grandpa was a man of simple pleasures. He liked his brew and he liked it cold. He spent the evening down at Tubby's Tavern, ignoring every warning he was told. He decided he could walk back through the holler. He didn't want to wake up Grandma's wrath, but he didn't see that 18-wheeler coming ripping down the middle of the path. Grandpa got run over by a liquor truck, walking home from Tubby's Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as liquid courage,
his overalls are soaked in Jim and Jack. He's the only man to survive a head-on collision and lick the whiskey off the mud guards in the back. We found him in a snowbank near the bypass, smelling like a distillery on fire. He had a case of Lone Star in his armpit and a souvenir from every Goodyear tire. The driver climbed out shaking like a leaf, boys. He said, I hit him doing 60 round the bend. But Grandpa just sat up and asked for bourbon and said, I think I found myself a brand new friend. Hey. Grandpa got run over by a liquor truck walking home from Tubby's Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as liquid courage, but as for Grandpa and the bottle, we believe he's got a Michelob imprinted on his forehead, and his overalls are soaked in Jim and Jack. He's the only man to survive a head-on collision and lick the whiskey off the mud guards in the back. Now the insurance man is having a conniption. The lawyer says we're gonna be real rich, but Grandpa's back at Tubby's doing shots, y'all, while Grandma's out there filling in the ditch. The neighbors say it's such a crying pity that Grandpa's face is shaped like a Mack truck, but he just smiles and says it's quite a blessing to have that much tequila-flavored luck. He don't need no bandages or stitches, he don't need no doctor or no pills. He just needs a gallon of that white lightning and a truck to hit him coming through the hills. Grandpa got run over by a liquor truck walking home from Tubby's Christmas Eve. You can say there's no such thing as liquid courage, but as for Grandpa and the bottle, we believe he's got a Michelob imprinted on his forehead, and his overalls are soaked in Jim and Jack. He's the only man to survive a head-on collision and lick the whiskey off the mud guards in the back. Look out, Grandpa, here comes the beer distributor. He's diving for it. He's diving for the cargo. Hey, hey.
Now, Grandma's been watching a lot of those true crime shows lately, and frankly, her trigger finger is getting a little itchy. We tried to tell the church choir to skip our house, but they didn't listen.
It was Christmas Eve and the lights were low. Grandma was rocking to the radio. She had a double-barrel shotgun and a glass of gin, waiting for the zombie apocalypse to begin. She heard a noise coming from the yard, some footsteps crunching on the snow real hard. She grabbed her purse and she grabbed her cane and a high-voltage device she bought in Spain. Grandma Tazed the Carolerz right on the porch. She lit them up like a human torch. They were singing Silent Night in perfect harmony till Grandma hit the tenor with a battery. There were sparks a-flying and people on the ground. The soprano made a terrible zap zap sound. You can't spread joy if you trespass here, 'cause Grandma Tazed the Carolerz this year. Poor Deacon Miller was leading the group, holding a fruit cake and some chicken soup. They started singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" loud when Grandma burst out looking fierce and proud. She yelled, "Back off, aliens, get off my lawn," and she zapped the deacon before he could yawn. He did the electric boogaloo right there in the snow while Grandma shouted, "I told you to go." The police showed up about 10 to 9. Grandma told the sheriff she was doing fine. She said they were wearing robes and speaking in code. I had to protect my humble abode. The sheriff said, "Ma'am, that was Hark the Herald Angels Sing." She said, "Well, they shouldn't have been standing in a ring." Now the church choir won't come down our street. They run away fast on their shivering feet. Grandma kept the fruitcake in the taser too, looking for the next unsuspecting crew. So if you wanna sing some holiday cheer, stay away from the lady with the ringing in her ear. Grandma Tazed the Carolerz right on the porch. She lit them up like a human torch. They were singing Silent Night in perfect harmony till Grandma hit the tenor with a battery. There were sparks a-flying and people on the ground. The soprano made a terrible zap zap sound. You can't spread joy her some toys, trying not to wake up all the girls and boys. He slid down the chimney for a cookie snack, leaving the engine running, and then the rain's kinda slack. Grandma was sitting on the porch drinking tea. She saw them reindeer idling and she felt a little frisky. She climbed up the trellis with a glint in her eye, said, I've always wanted to see how this buggy can fly. Grandma stole Santa's sleigh, she's joyriding down the Milky Way. She's cracking the whip and screaming, yeehaw, breaking every single aviation law. She clipped the water tower and the power lines too. Now the whole county doesn't have a view. Rudolph looks sick and Dasher is gray, 'cause Grandma stole Santa's sleigh. She banked a hard left over the county fair, with curlers flying out of her blue-rinsed hair. She buzz-cut the top of the sheriff's pine and did a barrel roll crossing the state line. The reindeer were hanging on for dear life. Prancer was crying, I want my wife. But Grandma just laughed and shifted into high, leaving glitter and exhaust all over the sky. Santa came out wiping crumbs from his beard. He looked at the roof and said, that's mighty weird. He saw his taillights fading in the stars above and realized he'd lost the ride he loved. He called up the Air Force, said, don't shoot her down. That's just a crazy lady from the edge of town. Home at 3:45, parked it sideways right by the front door. The runners were smoking and the paint was scratched, and poor little Vixen was totally detached. Grandma hopped out with a smile on her face, said that thing handles decent for outer space. She tossed Santa the keys and said thanks for the loan. Next time bring a seatbelt or leave it at home. Grandma stole Santa's sleigh, she's joyriding down the Milky Way. She's cracking the whip and screaming, yeehaw, breaking every single aviation law. She clipped the water tower and the power lines too. Now the whole county doesn't have a view. Rudolph looks sick and Dasher is great, 'cause Grandma stole Santa's sleigh. See, Grandma, your graphs. Santa, you might need an alignment check on that thing.
Grandma, come out with your hands up! We have the perimeter surrounded! The Ills came down to check her list about a week ago, checking if she's naughty or nice amidst the falling snow. They walked into the kitchen smelling gingerbread and spice, but Grandma locked the deadbolt and she trapped them in a trice. She cornered little Tinkers and his buddy Peppermint. She said, you work for me now, boys, until my patience is spent. She tied them to the mixer with an apron string so tight. Now they're baking double batches in the middle of the night. Grandma kidnapped the elf squad, it's a felony for sure. She's holding them for ransom, looking for a sugar cure. She don't want cash or diamonds, she don't want a brand new car. She wants the secret recipe inside the cookie jar. Keep mixing, she is yelling while she waves the wooden spoon. Grandma kidnapped the elf squad and they won't be leaving soon. Now the living room is covered in a cloud of white wheat flour. The elves are sweating nice and working $20 an hour. She's not paying them.
She's got 'em peeling walnuts and she got 'em folding dough. She says the snickerdoodles must appear before I let you go. Buddy tried to make a break for the chimney in the den, but Grandma blocked the exit with a rolling pin. And then she put him on the oven, watched him make the timer chime. It's the greatest hostage crisis of the modern Christmas time. Santa's on the walkie-talkie begging, please release my crew. Grandma said, I'll think about it after batch number 2. She demanded chocolate chips and a gallon of whole milk, or she'll turn these poor elves' hats into a quilt of silk. The SWAT team is confused, they don't know what to do, 'cause the hostage takers' cookies taste suspiciously like chew.
Man, these are good. turns out that the elves are kinda liking their new gig, 'cause Grandma lets them lick the bowl and do a little jig. They're fat on fudge and brownies, they don't wanna leave the shack. When Santa came to save them, they said we ain't coming back. So now they live with Grandma, making treats for all the town. And the sheriff helps them deliver when the sun goes down. Grandma kidnapped the elf squad, it's a felony for sure. She's holding them for ransom, looking for a sugar cure. She don't want cash or diamonds, she don't want a brand new car. She wants the secret recipe inside the cookie jar. Keep mixing, she is yelling while she waves a wooden spoon. Grandma kidnapped the elf squad and they won't be leaving soon. Sending the sprinkles and nobody gets hurt.
Merry Christmas, y'all. We was having the nicest time until the atmosphere changed. Gather round and hold your nose. The fire was a-crackling, the lights were twinkling bright. We were singing Silent Night with all of our might. Aunt Becky brought the bean dip, Cousin Earl brought the craw. We were stuffing our faces, just pigging right out. Then all of a sudden the singing kinda stopped. It wasn't a balloon or a cracker that popped. It was silent but violent, a stealthy little ghost. The worst Christmas present that we ever did host. Oh, jingle smells, it's spreading through the hall. It ain't the scent of gingerbread decked out upon the wall. It's a green fog rolling right beneath the Christmas tree. Somebody cut them once to cheese and it sure wasn't me. Uncle Jed sniffed the air and turned 50 shades of pale. Grandpa pointed a fin for rattle Buster's tail. He yelled that hound dog's riding, he ate something dead. Buster looked at the tabby calico pad just been made. The youngest started giggling, rolling on the rug while Mama was a-gagging into her cocoa mug. Uncle Larry tried to blame it on the furnace flue, but we all knew the furnace didn't eat Aunt Becky's stew. It smells like sulfur, smells like eggs. It's traveling faster than Rudolph's legs. It smells like sulfur, smells like eggs. It's traveling faster than Rudolph's legs. Grandma couldn't take it, she yelled out, mercy me. She threw open every window in the winter freeze. Now the thermostat is reading 25 degrees. We're wearing our parkas and shaking at the knees. I heard sleigh bells jangling up above the roof, but they pulled a U-turn fast, and that's the living proof. Santa hit that odor wall and said, no, not tonight. I ain't sliding down a chimney that smells like dynamite. So we're lighting every candle, cinnamon and pine, laughing while we're freezing, trying to survive the crime. Oh, jingle smells, it's spreading through the hall. It ain't the scent of gingerbread decked out upon the wall. It's a green fog rolling right beneath the Christmas tree. Somebody cut the monster cheese and it sure wasn't me. Alright, seriously, which one of you reindeer did it? Fess up past the matches.
Well, the party was going just fine until Grandma decided to hit that high note in No Holy Night. Now nobody wants to touch the punch bowl. Grab a ladle and help me fish 'em out, boys. The fire was a-roaring and the tinsel was hung. The whole family gathered for the carols we sung. Grandma was on her third cup of the cheer, whispering jokes in the preacher's left ear. She let out a cackle, she let out a hoot. She shook like a bowl full of jelly and soot. Her mouth opened wide for a big belly laugh, and her top and her bottom half split in the path. Yeah, Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog. They're sinking past the nutmeg and the Yule-log. They're grinning at the bottom of the crystal ball. God rest you merry gentlemen and bless her soul. The party's gone quiet, the guests are in a daze, looking at them chompers through a creamy yellow haze. Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog. Well, Cousin Bubba didn't see him, he was looking for a snack. He dipped his plastic cup and he didn't look back. He took a big swig and his eyes went wide. He felt something nipping at his tongue from inside. He yelled, Lordy mercy, this drink's got a bite. He spit out a molar and turned ghostly white. Grandma just reached in and fished out the rest and stuck them in her mouth like a bird in a nest. Yeah, Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog. They're sinking past the nutmeg and the Yule-log. They're grinning at the bottom of the crystal bowl. God rest you merry gentlemen and bless her soul. The party's gone quiet, the guests are in a daze, looking at them choppers through a creamy yellow haze. Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog. She didn't need no water,
Didn't need no soap,
she just licked off the bourbon
and she gave us all hope.
She said they're better than ever, they taste like the spice. And she went back for seconds, not once but twice. Now the preacher is leaving and the neighbors are gone. The story's gonna spread from the house to the lawn. Next year we're serving the drinks in a can to protect every woman and child and man. But Granny don't care, she's a smiling real big, doing a little holiday moonshine jig with a hint of cinnamon stuck in her gums. And eggnog a dripping whenever she hums.
Yeah, Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog.
They're singing past the nutmeg and the yule-log.
They're grinning at the bottom of the crystal ball.
God rest you merry gentlemen and bless her soul. The party's gone quiet, the guests are in a daze, looking at them chompers through a creamy yellow haze.
Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog. Yeah, Grandma's teachers, they're grinning at the bottom. Yeah, Grandma's dentures fell in the eggnog.
Pass me the gin, Mama. I think I see her bridging the fruitcake. Lord have mercy.
Sweet mother of pearl, don't nobody go in there for at least 3 days. Saint Nick must have had some bad chili at the North Pole. I woke up in the morning with a pressure in my gut. Ran out to the privy in the freezing winter rut. I grabbed the handle on the door and yanked it open wide, and a cloud of green holly jolly smoke rolled out from inside. It smelled like rotten eggnog and a burning rubber tire, like a reindeer eating cabbage sitting flatulence on fire. I looked down in the hole to see what caused the awful smell, and saw the biggest, meanest, brownest kind of jingle bell. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in her outhouse. He surely dropped a monster that would terrify a mouse. He cracked the porcelain cedar with a supersonic thump. We got a Christmas present from the Santa Claus rump. It ain't no shiny ornament, it ain't no candy cane. Santa dropped the Yule log that has clogged up the drain. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in her outhouse. Well, I saw the sleigh tracks on the roof, the shingles were all burned. I guess that lactose intolerance is something he ain't learned. He must have ate a billion cookies on his midnight flight and saved it all for my backyard to exercise the fright. The wood is splintered on the walls, the crescent moon is bent. It looks like a tornado came and that's just how it went. I never seen a heat that big, a mountain of despair. Saint Nick relieved his pressure and he left it sitting there. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in our outhouse. He surely dropped a monster that would terrify a mouse. He cracked the porcelain cedar with a supersonic thump. We got a Christmas present from the Santa Claus rump. It ain't no shiny ornament, it ain't no candy cane. Santa dropped the Yule log that has clogged up the drain. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in our outhouse. He didn't use the chimney, he didn't use the door. He blew a hole right through the glorious bathroom floor. Now Grandma's got the plunger and she's giving it a try, but we're gonna need some dynamite to blow that pile sky high. Now the EPA is calling saying, what is that debris? It's hazardous material beneath the walnut tree. We can't flush it down, we can't poke it with a stick. That's a heavy donation from the bowel of Saint Nick. So if you see him flying and he's looking kind of pale, run inside your houses, folks, and guard your water pail. 'Cause when he lands to do his deed, he don't hold nothing back. He leaves a big jingle bell right in your cul-de-sac. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in our outhouse. He surely dropped a monster that would terrify a mouse. He cracked the porcelain cedar with a supersonic thump. We got a Christmas present from the Santa Claus rump. It ain't no shiny ornament, it ain't no candy cane. Santa dropped the Yule log that has clogged up the drain. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in our outhouse. Well, I guess we just burned the whole shed down. It's the only way, hand me the kerosene. Yeah, Santa left a big jingle bell in our outhouse.
Los, y'all ain't gonna believe the scanner chatter tonight. Officer Jenkins just radioed in from Cloud 9. He's got a suspect in a red velvet suit, and he ain't walking a straight line.
He was swerving over Georgia, dipping low and flying high, zigzagging round the steeple, scraping paint right off the sky. He'd been hitting every house from Memphis up to Bowling Green, sampling all the moonshine and the homemade kerosene. He missed the chimney on the left and clipped the satellite. His navigation system wasn't functioning quite right. The reindeer looking nervous, Rudolph's nose was turning dim, 'cause the boss man had a flask of whiskey filled up to the brim. Santa got a DUI in his sleigh, blue lights flashing in the Milky Way. He told the trooper officer I only had a few, but his blood type tested out as 90 proof Mountain Dew. The elves are calling lawyers and the toys are gonna wait. The state patrol has got him near the interstate. It's gonna be a long night for the fat man in the red. Santa spending Christmas in the county jail instead. Officer Jenkins hit the lights and pulled him to a cloud. He said, step out of the vehicle, and said it mighty loud. Santa stumbled out the side and tripped on Blitzen's hoof. Nearly tumbled 40 stories off of Miller's rusty roof. He tried to show his license, but he handed him a doll. He was leaning on the sleigh so that he wouldn't slip and fall. The cop asked, have you been drinking? Santa said, well, just a drop, maybe 2 or 3 gallons at that last pit stop.
Walk the line.
He couldn't do it.
Touch your nose.
He missed it.
Recite the alphabet.
He said, A, B, Q, Z, officer, are you arresting me?
Well, fought the law high energy.
They cuffed him with the fuzz still sticking to his velvet sleeve, while Rudolph took a breathalyzer trying to leave. They impounded the presents and they towed the sleigh away, parked it in the lot beside a beat-up Chevrolet. Now Mrs. Claus is driving down to post a heavy bail. She's madder than a wet hen and she's turning mighty pale. If you don't get your presents, don't you worry, don't you cry. Santa's just sleeping off a jagged DUI. Santa got a DUI in his sleigh, blue lights flashing in the Milky Way. Told the trooper officer I only had a few, but his blood type tested out as 90 proof Mountain Dew. The elves are calling lawyers and the toys are gonna wait. The state patrol has got him near the interstate. It's gonna be a long night for the fat man in the red. Santa's spending Christmas in the county jail instead. All right, Kringle, you have the right to remain silent. What you don't have is the right to a clean breathalyzer. Now step on in, we got your sleigh impounded. You can tell all about that eggnog to the judge.
Yeah!
Santa got a DUI in his sleigh, blue lights flashing in the Milky Way. Told the trooper officer I only had a few, but his blood type tested out as 90 proof Mountain Dew.
Well, looky here. Put down that eggnog and grab a cold one. The big man is in town, but he ain't driving no sleigh.
He don't wear velvet and he don't wear silk. He don't want your cookies and he hates warm milk. He's got a camo suit and a Bass Pro hat, and he's feeding beef jerky to the family cat. You want his sleigh bells ringing on the roof tonight, just a blown out muffler and a halogen light. He's tearing up the driveway in a 4-wheel drive, making sure the party is fully alive. Here comes a redneck Santa, right down the gravel lane. He's got a cooler full of catfish and a rusted weather vane. He doesn't have reindeer, he's got a pack of hunting hounds, making lots of racket with their howling sounds. Bells are ringing, kids are singing, open up the gate. Here comes redneck Santa and he's running a little late. He's filling up the stockings with WD-40 cans and tickets to the races for all the NASCAR fans. He left a brand new alternator underneath the tree and a bucket full of ammo for my brother Lee. He don't use a chimney 'cause he won't fit through. He kicks open the screen door with a muddy boot.
He's hugging Auntie Rita and he's kissing Cousin Sue.
Wait, they're not related? Oh, never mind. Woo!
He's making a list, checking it twice, gonna find out who's drinking Natty Light or Ice. He knows if you've been fishing, he knows if you got stuck, he knows if you put a lift kit on your pickup truck. So hang up your socks and your camouflage vest, 'cause Redneck Santa's simply the best. Now the sun is coming up and the gas tank is low. He's gotta get back to the swamp before the rooster crows. He jumped in his Chevy and he slammed the door shut, scratched his beard and his big round gut. He peeled out backwards, throwing gravel on the porch, lit up a cigar like a holiday torch. Here comes Redneck Santa, right down the gravel lane. He's got a cooler full of catfish and a rusted weather vane. He doesn't have reindeer, he's got a pack of hunting hounds, making lots of racket with their howling sounds. Bells are ringing, kids are singing, open up the gate. Here comes Redneck Santa and he's running a little late. Merry Christmas, y'all. Does this truck have a Hemi? You bet your sweet apple pie it does.
We told him the indoor plumbing was broke, but he said he was in a hurry. Somebody grab the crowbar.
He parked the sleigh by the old oak stump. He was doing a jig and a nervous jump. Too much coffee and holiday tea. He needed a break behind the hickory tree. He spotted the shack with the crescent moon. Said, I gotta get in there mighty soon. He ran inside and he slammed the door, but the ice froze the latch to the wooden floor. Santa got stuck in the outhouse again, locked inside like a pig in a pen. The hinges are rusted and the handle is stuck. The big red man is out of luck. He's banging on the walls and yelling for help, making poor Rudolph yip and yell. Christmas canceled or so it appears, 'cause Santa's been stuck in the John for years. Well, please anyway. It's 10 below zero and the wind is high. He's freezing his tinsel beneath the sky. He tried to kick the door with a big black boot, but he just poked a hole in his velvet suit. He's calling Mrs. Claus on the radio, saying, honey, I really, really gotta go. But the signal is weak and the battery's dead, and he's sitting on a block of icy dread. We hooked up the reindeer to the handle on the shack. We yelled mush real loud, and we heard a loud crank. The whole front wall came ripping away, exposing poor Santa to the light of day. Well, he pulled up his suspenders and he adjusted his hat. He said, I ain't never coming back to farm like that. He hopped in the sleigh with a face bright red, and it wasn't from the cold, it was shame instead. He flew off fast like a bat out of will, leaving behind a chaotic smell. So if you see Santa, just let him be and point him toward a bathroom inside for free. Santa got stuck in the outhouse again, locked inside like a pig in a pen. The hinges are rusted and the handle is stuck. The big red man is out of luck. He's banging on the walls and yelling for help, making poor Rudolph yip and yell. Christmas canceled or so it appears, 'cause Santa's been stuck in the John for years.
Next year, we're getting him a bucket.
I worked 12 hours at the factory gate, dreaming about a ham and a big old plate. Checked my stub and dang, I nearly fainted. My overtime was gone like it got green painted. Boss said, son, don't look at me. I saw green footprints by the Christmas tree. The Grinch stole my overtime pay. Ran off laughing all the way. Now I'm broke, just holy heck. Christmas hit my wallet like a redneck wreck. Yeah, the Grinch stole my overtime pay. I chased that rascal through the parking lot. He dove in a dumpster like it was a yacht. He hollered, thanks, sucker, enjoy your day, and swallowed my paycheck like a holiday buffet. Santa saw and just shook his head, said, buddy, that's why I keep my elves fed. The Grinch stole my overtime pay. Ran off laughing all the way. Now I'm broke, just holy heck. Christmas hit my wallet like a redneck wreck. Yeah, the Grinch stole my overtime pay. I'd buy gifts, but I'm running on fumes. Wrapped values and cheap tinsel blooms. Grandma got socks made out of old shirts, and Uncle Jim got a coupon that don't work. The Grinch stole my overtime pay. Took my joy and my Chevrolet. Okay, not the truck, but it felt that way when that green dude ruined my holiday. Yeah, the Grinch stole my overtime pay. So if your cash goes missing Christmas night, and you hear snickering out of sight, don't blame the elves, don't blame me, babe. It's that dang Grinch with my overtime pay. Yeah, the Grinch stole my overtime pay.
Wake the neighbors, hide the valuables, bar the windows, y'all. The sleigh done crossed the Mason-Dixon.
We left out Uncle Larry's arthritis tonic instead of milk. That's on us? Roll it. We figured Santa earned a little extra cheer this year, so we skipped the skim milk, left him something strong and clear. Grandpa poured it proudly, said that there'll do the trick. Ain't no jet lag strong enough to phase old St. Nick. We snuggled in our covers, dreaming toys and snow, and a thunder as the racket shook the whole dang home. Sounded like a hog wild moose in cowboy boots, line dancing through the living room and breaking all the rules. Yeah, Santa got drunk and stole our Christmas presents. He was zigzagging around the sofa like a college kid at tenses. Didn't leave a ribbon, didn't leave a bow, just grabbed what was nailed down and said, ho ho, let's go. Blame that backwoods rocket fuel is sloshing in his cup. Santa got drunk and packed our whole dang Christmas up. Hey! Me and my sister crawled down low and peeked around the tree. His beard was full of tinsel and regret and whiskey glee. He was singing Silent Night at the top of both his lungs while trying to unplug the Wi-Fi with his teeth and thumbs. He nabbed my brand new toolbox and my mama's fancy pants. Said, Mrs. Claus will love this, she's a DIY fan. He tripped across the ottoman, did a snow angel sprawl, then apologized to the lamp before taking a whole dang wall. Let go. Yeah, Santa got drunk and stole our Christmas presents. He was moonwalking through the hallway like a red-suited menace. Didn't leave a crumb, didn't leave a cup, just hauled off half our household in a burlap pickup sack. Blame that 100-proof courage just swirling in his gut. Santa got drunk and loaded our whole Christmas. Hey, 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 hey. Heard them reindeer snorting like they'd seen some proof. They knew the boss man had gone completely aloof. He wobbled up the chimney like a half-tied shoe. Got stuck, cussed twice, then slid back down times two. Yeah! Now the sun's up Christmas morning and the house feels robbed. The tree's still standing proud, but every box is gone. No trains, no dolls, no batteries to spare. Just a note says my bad luck, Santa taped to thin air. Sheriff took the statement, tried not to grin, said this ain't the first time old Nick's been in. So heed this rural wisdom straight from us to you. Don't mix folklore and liquor, learn from what we do. Yeah, Santa got drunk and
stole our Christmas presents. He was moonwalking through the hallway like a red-suited menace. Didn't leave a crumb, didn't leave a cup, just hauled off half our household in a burlap pickup sack. Blame that 100-proof courage just swirling in his gut. Santa got drunk and loaded our whole Christmas up. Hey, 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 hey. Dasher, you saw nothing. Prancer, drop my leaf blower. Rudolph, turn that nose off.
Well, looky yonder. That ain't a sleigh, that's a '84 Silverado with a lift kit. Hide the moonshine, boys, Hilbily Santa is coming to town. He don't live at the North Pole, he lives down in the bog in a double-wide trailer with a three-legged dog. He don't wear a red suit made of velvet and silk. He's got a grease-stained flannel and he smells like sour milk. He traded in the sleigh for a dually 4x4 with a shotgun rack and a rusted outdoor. He don't land on the roof cause the shingles are loose. He just parks on the lawn and drinks a quarter jungle juice. Here comes a hillbilly Santa in his camouflage vest with a beard full of jerky and the hair on his chest. He don't say ho, ho, ho. He screams, get our done, handing out ammo and have a little fun. He ain't got no elf, just a cousin named Ray. The hillbilly Santa is headed your way. Now Dasher and Dancer, they got traded for a mule, and Vixen ran off cause she thought he was a fool. He's got 8 rampant coonhounds tied up with a rope, dragging that bumper with a heart full of hope. Their names are Bubba, Skeeter, Cletus, and Earl, Bocephus, Wayne, and a squirrel hunting girl. They howl at the moon while he fills up the tank with some diesel-y siphon from the septic tank. He didn't bring no coal, that stuff is too expensive. He brought a roll of duct tape and it's mighty extensive. He left a can of snuff in my little sister's sock and a coupon for a discount at the local pawn shop. He slid down the stovepipe and got stuck at the waist. You'll butter me up, Ma, I ain't got time to waste. He spit a stream of tobacco in the potted fern plant and ate a cold possum sandwich like a hungry old ant. He winked at my mama with a tooth missing front, said I gotta get going on a midnight hunt. He peeled out the driveway, threw some mud on the porch, lit a cigarette up with a butane torch. Here comes a hillbilly Santa in his camouflage vest with a beard full of jerky and the hair on his chest. He don't say ho, ho, ho. He screams, get our done, handing out ammo and have a little fun. He ain't got no elf, just a cousin named Ray. The hillbilly Santa is headed your way. Now, Ray, I told you to tie them dogs tighter. We lost Earl back at the Waffle House. Turn this truck around. Turn this truck around.